the mystery of God is always a mystery to man, even though it's man design all of the concepts and ideas, and him try to project it outside of himself and not recognizing that all him trying to do is find himself. All him trying to do is find himself. But sometimes searching for yourself carry you through different trials and tribulations, agony and pain, and sometimes joy and happiness too. Suppose you stand up in front of your mirror one day and don't see your reflection. What would be your thoughts? So, this story is a story we tell many times. When I say it again, there was a man in a village, say him really want to find God. He want to find the highest level of consciousness that you know about. So I'm going to go to some sage, some priest or monk to tell him which part him can go or what can he do to reach the level of what I call nirvana, heaven, blissfulness, utopia. Well, the first one I'm going to tell him, he must go down in another village and he must say a lot of women, beautiful women, and them will satisfy all his desires and make him reach to nirvana, or what you call blissfulness. So I'm travel for days and go down to the village, buck up and whole heap of women, and after him done go through everything, him find out, say, no, him not find God or where him a look for. Him not find the consciousness where him a look for. Him still have to find out now which part this consciousness there, which part this heights of levels, this what them call God, the Buddha, which part him there. So him start to ask a next sage again, and the sage say, all right, there's a war in a next village. If you go down there and allow the people them to win that battle, you will find the God that you're searching for. So him take him sword and all the things that are necessary for fight, and him go down in the village and fight in the war, and it so happened that the village where I fight for win the battle. But when them win the battle and them win the battle, him realize, say, but him not find where I look for. So him have to go find a next monk, priest or sage. And the monk tell him, say, all right, there's a mountain. When you look up there, you see almost like the clouds upon the side of the mountain. You're going to go up to that mountain, and in that mountain there's a cave. And you're going to go into the cave, and you're going to find a book. And that book will lead you to where you look for. The level of consciousness where you look for, you will find it in that book. For those of you who just joined me, we was talking as a story, was telling a story actually about a man who was searching for God, searching for that heights, that nirvana, that utopia. And we were saying that he passed through villages that was in war, and him helped them win the war, village with a lot of beautiful women. Him had him way with them. And now him find out one now who tell him, say, look here now, there's a mountain top that you have to go to. And there's a cave, and you're going to go in that cave. And you're going to see a book. And you will find what you're looking for. The thing is that him did have to go back through the village them. And him have to go back to where him was coming from originally. But him actually never come from the mountain top. Him was right in the valley of the mountain. So him turn back and it take him days to travel. Him even buck up on a place where is more riches that him could have ever say. And the riches that where him could have say, even though him see the riches and realize him could have attained that riches, it still never give him that fulfillment where I look for, that God where I look for, that search where I look for. So him reach a mountain and him decide say him go up the mountain and him start to trek up to the mountain till him reach a cave. When him reach a cave, him go inside of the cave and him see the biggest book him ever see. Big book. Never see such a large book before. And him say, okay, because you know I don't know how this is going to work because there's nobody here but me. And the monk did say, I'm going to find God up here. But how can I find God in a place where I alone is with a book? So him say, so him remember, so he must open the book. So him got to know, and him decide, say him going to open the book. Him open the book to page 1. And what him see in the page was a mirror. And him say, this come like a game, you know. This come like a joke business. So him turn the next page, and him see a mirror. And these 2 pages are reflect himself in it. And him keep turning the pages and turning the pages, and all him say upon the pages was mirrors of himself, was reflections of himself. And him really try to figure out what the hell is happening here now, because how can this man send him on such a long journey to find a book with mirrors, the book of mirrors, that only reflect him. And then him say, a man coming out of a dark place. Where him look is a same monk. Where him tell him say, must come to the mountaintop, to the cave. And him say the book. And in that book him will find God. The sage come out, him look at the sage and say, what kind of joke is this? I've traveled so far, for days traveling on this mountain, and you told me that if I come to this book and open the book, I will find what I'm looking for. The monk looked upon him and said, you have found what you're looking for, but it's just because what you're looking for look like you, why you choose not to accept it. Because really and truly, the God that you're searching for is you. Yes, the mystery of God is always a mystery to man, even though it's man design all of the concepts and ideas. And him try to project it outside of himself and not recognizing that all him trying to do is find himself. All him trying to do is find himself. But sometimes
you are listening to the Black Radar YouTube
channel.
Hit that subscribe button and keep listening.
Trials and tribulations, agony and pain, and sometimes joy and happiness too. We all search for that nirvana, that utopia, that never-ending bliss. But most of we grow up to search for it outside of ourselves. And we lose trust in ourselves. You know, sometimes them say, you are what you eat. I say, you are what you think. You are what you think. And sometimes your mind carry you in some places where your body can't ever go. But it's still you I go there. Because there's no mind in mind. So come back now to the first question where we ask. Suppose you're looking at a mirror. And when you're looking at the mirror, you don't see yourself. What would you think?
Why is this important to know? If you research Rome or Romans, you will notice that it is not recorded in the Old Testament at all, but you will find it in the Apocrypha, which was removed out of the 1611 King James Bible. You can also find the word Romans in the book of Daniel of the Septuagint. Were they deliberately trying to hide who the Romans are? In the Septuagint, the book of Daniel 11:30 translates the occurrence of Kittim in as Romans. Maccabees 1:1 states that Alexander the Great, the Macedonian, had come from the land of Kittim, or the land of the Romans. Jasher 10:16, and the children of Chittim are the Romans, who dwell in the valley of Canopia by the river Tiber. There is estimated to be about 100 books that have been either removed or not included in the Bible. The Catholics even debated on whether or not to remove the book of Revelation out of the Bible. Louis Ginsburg, in his book titled Legends of the Jews, writes, "They, Esau and Jacob, will never be in the same estate. Esau will vaunt lords, while Jacob will have kings. They, Israel and Rome, are the two nations destined to be hated by all the world. One will exceed the other in strength. First, Esau will subjugate the whole world." We see that in ancient times, Edom was to be found amongst several ancient peoples, which they blended and assumed their identity. Other sources show Edomite elements in China, as claimed recently by an erudite Chinese scholar, and possibly also Japan. Edom on the whole may well have had a major influence amongst many of the world's populations. But in the end, Jacob will rule over all. Legends, Volume 1, page 314. Ginsburg further relates that God will call out to the Messiah, roar at this monster that devours the fat of the nations, that justifies its claims for recognition through being a descendant of Abraham by his grandson Esau, the nation that kept Israel back from the study of the Torah, and tempted them to deeds that are in accord with the wishes of Satan. Legends, Volume 3, page 167. Don Isaac Abarbanel, 1437–1508, a wealthy Jewish statesman and philosopher, believed that a tradition existed that many of the early Christians were Edomites. Ernest L. Martin, an author, historian, theologian, and meteorologist, in a book titled The People That History Forgot, claimed that most of the Edomites from Edom and many from Tyre went to the west to Italy and other places, where they became Christian. His book says that the Edomites migrated in masses to western regions of the Roman Empire. They became Christian but retained something of their previous practices and influenced early Christianity with their pagan traditions. Esau, like Jacob, was a mighty man of renown in ancient times. He was an explorer and wanderer, as well as a mighty hunter. He and his descendants, the Edomites, also founded or were part of the founding of such ancient world empires as that of Rome, Troy, Tyre, and Carthage, Italy, as well as Spain and the Ottoman Empire. In fact, the Book of Jasher contains the following pertinent information. And the children of Chittim continued their pursuit of Edom, and they smote them with a great slaughter, and Edom became subject to the children of Chittim. And the children of Chittim ruled over Edom, and Edom became under the hand of the children of Chittim, and became one kingdom from that day. And from that time they could no more lift up their heads, and their kingdom became one with the children of Chittim. The book of Jasher 60 mentions that the son of Eliphaz, the son of Esau, fled from Egypt, he and his men, and they went away. And he came to Africa, which is Dinhaba, to Angeas, king of Africa. And Angeas received them with great honor, and he made Zepho the captain of his host. Jasher chapter 61:12. And when Zepho, the son of Eliphaz, saw that Angeas despaired of going forth to battle with the Egyptians, Zepho fled from Angeas, from Africa, and he went and came unto Chittim. And all the people of Chittim received him with great...
The informative information presented in this video is motivational and is positively aimed at inspiring, educating and entertaining the viewers with the cutting edge of critical reasoning. If you enjoy the contents on the Black Radar YouTube channel, please consider subscribing to show your support.